back with another video here on Single and Placing. I wasn't driving, so I got to take both hands off the wheel for that one. Hi, I hope everyone's having a fantastic day, weekday, weekend, evening, morning, whatever you've got going on. I hope you're having a good one. I am hungry, and so we're gonna do a vlog. I'm gonna go get some lunch. I thought about I've been eating so many leftovers pretty much all week, this past week and weekend. Like, I'll make something and then for like the next 2 or 3 days I'm eating the same thing. And I made a dish called calabacitas, which is essentially zucchini, but it kind of translates more to like an actual like side dish, I think. And it's got tomatoes and corn, and I put zucchini and yellow squash in mine, some onions, oregano, garlic, some hot peppers. You can do jalapenos, but we had some peppers out in the garden, so I dried those in the food dehydrator, and now I just use them as spice essentially. So I made that, but I made it to the recipe, and I never look at like how much it serves, and I'm so bad about like cooking more than what I need. And so I ended up with this giant bowl of calabacitas, and I've been eating that for like since Thursday, and today's Sunday. So I'll put it with ground beef, or I'll put it with some elote seasoning and some other stuff on it. And I'm over it. So and I still have like half of it left. So I think I might freeze it, because you can, if you thaw that out, you can do it with a little chicken broth, or maybe you can add some like bouillon cubes and some water and actually turn it into like calabacita soup almost. You have to be careful though, because the zucchini can get a little squishy. But we're jumping right into all of the life stuff real quick, because it's not that far to where I want to go for lunch. I want to get some pho. It's sprinkling, it's a little overcast. And then when we get back to the house, the last part of this vlog, this is going to be a quick one, is going to be kind of a this is how we do it. Bev, she did a video showing people how she uses Google Keep as an online electronic logbook for all of her diamond paintings. And I have really been like toying with the idea of doing something similar, some kind of electronics way of record keeping. And I have some pretty big ideas. I think it came up during Shay's live too, of like how to make gems flow a little bit more easy. And we'll talk about all of this when we get back to the house, or on my drive home. I'll give you some more info. But just make it a little bit more approachable, a little less fuss, a little bit more well-rounded, and see what I can do there. But conceptually, I have to figure out like how I would want this to work. And so I have kind of I basically took what Bev did at the core, because I had never really used Google Keep. And so I took what she did in essence, but kind of built it out a little bit more. So I asked her for her permission to film a video based on that. And I want to make sure that I shout her out, as she is kind of the brainchild for this first evolution of what I want to get to at some point. Is the pho restaurant closed on Sundays? Oh my God. Please tell me they are open. Maybe Sunday closed. Jeezy Pete. Okay, we're gonna have to find another pho restaurant, because I had my heart set on it. In the barbershop, I was like, oh, I'll get my hair cut afterwards too. They're closed on Sundays. What am I doing? What's happening? Okay. Where is there another pho restaurant? Well, let me finish chatting with you for this clip. I'll let you go so I can hop on Yelp and figure out what I'm gonna do with my life now, because that was it. Okay, so, oh, I know where I'll go. So, yeah, I wanted to make sure to kind of shout her out that way, covering my butt there. And I asked her for her permission, and I just want to make sure, showing her some love. Thank you so much, Bev, for the good idea. I struggled I downloaded GemsFlow and didn't really ever use it because I was like, my stash won't get that big. Like if I can't recite by name and artist all of my kits, my diamond painting kits, then things have gotten out of hand. And they got out of hand in like a month. So I mean, so I downloaded GemsFlow, but what I do when I unbox is I film my unboxing. I put the drills in a gallon-sized bag with the sticker sheet facing out so I know what kit they belong to, and those go in a big trunk. And then I hang all of my diamond paintings in my craft room closet, and so I've never really had an issue because I can literally flip through them like shirts on hangers, like, oh, I'll do this one next, or that type of thing. But now it's getting to the point where that space is starting to get full, and I have like 10 kits still in their boxes that need to be unboxed. And so I'm rethinking that, because from the purpose of maybe destashing at a certain point, I probably want to hold on to the boxes. So I don't think I'm going to hang them up anymore, because I was throwing away all the boxes. So I don't think I'm going to hang them anymore. If I do an unboxing, then I will... I'm going to still hang them, but I'm going to save the box, and I have them in the garage. Although I was thinking, like, what if mice get to that cardboard? I don't know. I might need to figure something else out there, but they're in the garage now. But it would be nice to have some key bits of information recorded somewhere as I'm working on kits, because sometimes I have unboxings done and filmed and scheduled on the channel all the way into like February or March. I just do them that far in advance, or I have been doing them that far in advance. So I forget what's been unboxed. I forget sometimes did I film a kitting up video, or did I just kit this up? Like a lot of those things from like a content creation standpoint, I need to start being better about keeping track of, because there's been so many times where I'm like on a video and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even do an unboxing of this. And then I go back and I'm like, yes, I did 3 months ago, or, I think I've done an unboxing of this. I'm like, no, actually it's not scheduled until December 17th or whatever, so I just need to be more mindful of that. It'll just make me feel less stressed about like juggling all these dates in my head. So I think I've come up with something that's pretty cool, and I will show you as soon as we get back to the house. And I think I've come up with an idea that makes that really cool on top of the cool, double cool. So I'm really excited to share it with everyone and get some feedback. And I hope Bev likes it. And yeah, other than that, Apollo was neutered yesterday morning. And so this is the first time that I've left the house with him in his cone, in his crate. So I'll be checking the Amazon. I'll be dropping in on our little Amazon camera to see how he's doing as soon as I get to the restaurant. He had a rough go of things when I got there. They actually called me and they're like, hey, Apollo's all out of surgery. He did absolutely fine, but he's a little stressed here. He's not just, sitting quietly and waiting. And I got there and I could hear him from the downstairs going upstairs to like the clinic check-in. I could just hear him howling and crying, and I started crying. And they make you like pay, obviously, and then you have to sit and wait for one of the vet techs to come out and talk to you. And they took about 5 or 6 minutes, and the whole time he was just wailing. And I was like, give me my dog, give him to me. So she comes out and gives me the whole spiel, and I was being very polite, but I'm like, yeah, I'll read this when I get him, And so they gave me all the post-op information, and I read through that. They had sent it to me via email anyway, and so I had already read everything that she was trying to cover with me. But they did give me his meds, and she gave me the instructions for administering them. So that was helpful. And then I got him, and by the time they brought him out to me, he wasn't wailing anymore. But he got in the car and his whole face was just soaked because he had just been crying so much. And I was just like, oh my God. So I got him home and I got some wipes to wipe his, because, I didn't want that, the tears to sting his skin or anything. So wiped him up, tried to clean him up a little bit, but I'm not allowed to bathe him for 10 days. Gave him some no, he wouldn't drink water. So I gave him ice chips. So he was eating ice chips and he was just kind of laying at my feet. Gave him some ice chips and just was like holding his little paw. And I didn't put the cone on him right away because he was just so out of it and lethargic. Like he wasn't trying to lick his stitches or anything. And he did okay through the night. I gave him another round of his, they gave me a mild sedative to give him twice a day. So he would kind of fall asleep and then he'd wake me up because he was just like doing that like nasally whine kind of cry because he was just in pain. And so I'd kind of calm him down and just kind of hold him close to me. And he just did that on and off throughout the night. We had a pretty sleepless night. And then this morning, he woke up and I could tell that he was getting some energy back and he started trying to like lick his wound. So I put the cone on him. And so he's had it on pretty much ever since this morning. And he does okay with it. He was able to eat because they said I could give him a full meal this morning and he ate his full breakfast. I put his medicine, just dropped the pills right in the bowl and he didn't know anything different. Went outside and used the restroom just fine. Like I was worried that would hurt him, but maybe it was the sedatives. I'm not sure, but he seems okay. And now he's been chewing on his bone again, as opposed to like just kind of laying there staring at me. So I think he's starting to, get back to normal a little bit. So we'll see. I don't want to force him to be in pain, but then I don't want him to be on the sedative any longer than he needs it. But that you can't tell, like the dog can't say like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain level, So I don't know. I'm going to keep an eye on it. He already had his pain meds for today, for the whole day. So the next time I would technically give it to him is around like 1 a.m., 2 in the morning. So we'll see. I'll try to stay up with him a little bit, depending on if he's sleeping well or not. Or if he wakes up and he's whining in the middle of the night, then I can just give him his medicine. So he's doing okay. I had a very emotional Friday leading up to him going in, and then had a very emotional Saturday dropping him off. Like when I was driving home, I was like, is this the right choice? Should I call them and tell them, never mind, I'm going to come back and get him. We're not going to do this right now, or not at all. Like I ran through all of these like emotions and scenarios of like, this isn't right or this is right. And it was just a mess. So, but it's done. What's done is done. And he seems like he's recovering a lot better than in my head I thought it was going to be, because they say 10 days to fully recover. I thought he was going to be just a complete wreck for 10 days. I was already, talking to my boss about switching my work from home days to be tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then be in the office Thursday, Friday. That way I can have another 3 days with him without having to leave him alone. But he seems, even after, 24 hours, he seems to be doing pretty good. So, but yeah, I'm here. This is a weird place. It's half dive bar, they've got pool tables. It's kind of like a divey bar, half pho restaurant. Very strange, but their food's good. So I don't know if they're serving pho or their Vietnamese options at this time. So I'm going to go in and find out. If so, I'm going to enjoy a little bit of lunch. And then on the way home, we can talk a little bit more about what I want to do with this Google Keep thing, or what I am doing and have done. And then I'll try to figure out a way to set up my laptop so you can see what I'm seeing, and I can walk you through how I did it so you can do it, and then where I want to go from here if possible. So let me go eat. I'm hungry, and we'll chat soon. Okay, bye. Hello. All right, I kind of usually I turn on the video once I get in the car and pull out of a parking lot or whatever, but I was so distracted or just in my own head that I wasn't even thinking. And then I was Like, what's it I filming a video? Oh, that's right, the vlog. I'm like, turn on the camera. Oh my goodness. So we're just headed back. I'm so full of. I ended up getting. I was gonna get pho originally, but then they have a wonton soup there that's like $4 less and like the same size, and it's got shrimp and wontons and barbecue pork slices, and it's cheaper, but you kind of get more food with it. It doesn't have noodles, but I kind of like I could take or leave the pho, or I could do like a half order of the pho noodles. I'm more in it for like the broth of it all and the protein of it all. So that's kind of the perfect option for me. So I got that and a little side order of egg rolls. So now I'm full of food and ready to head home and show everyone this little project I've been working on. And it's not the it's not the project I've been alluding to for weeks now. This is just this thing that I did, little side thing that I did after watching Bev show everyone how she uses Google Keep. So that stuff will be happening soon, but this is separate thing. But yeah, make sure to leave in the comments how your week went this past week or weekend, and if you have any fun plans for Halloween. I don't really have anything planned. My buddies always have something up their sleeve that nobody remembers or mentions until the night of or the day before. So I'm sure I'll get roped into going and doing something over the weekend, but I'm kind of hoping that I'm not. I'm kind of hoping that I can just kind of hang back and hang out. I don't know. I think maybe that some of that stems from me just being like, well, that'll be day 7, or weekend. This next weekend will be days 7 and 8 of Apollo and getting his surgery. So he's still in recovery mode for 2 more days. So I don't know. I'm sure I'm just being a stickler, and he is recovering really fine. But I want to make sure that I'm available just in case anything's needed. So, these little townhomes are kind of cute. I like those. They're popping up these like row homes, like all over Colorado. Anywhere they can cram them in, they're cramming like $5 or $6 million little row home kind of townhome things. Everywhere you look. And some of them are cute, and some of them are just a series of rectangles with like not very much architectural design whatsoever. It's just like, here's a square, give us all your money, good luck. So it's kind of a bummer because there are like, this neighborhood has some of the like 70s style like ranch homes, like single level or kind of bi-level ranch homes with like the big glass like front rooms and stuff, like very Brady Bunch. I love that design style. The covered, what are those called? I think it's French. If you know it, say it, but it's the covered carport. I think there's a name. There's a name. It's also, I think, the same name like when you pull up to a hotel and they're like where the oh my gosh, I think that's another French name, a French word, where the guy who takes your bags, the hotel attendant, walks out and you've parked underneath the fill in the blank, and then you don't get rained on or anything, and then your limo or whatever drives away, or your cab drives away. There's a name for that covered thing. Anyway, there's a lot of those around here. I'm sure there's somebody that's like, it's called a blah, 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 blah. Duh. I don't know. It's like, I want to say what I think it is, but it's absolutely not that. In my head, it's just a bunch of French jumbled sounding things that probably are not French. So I'm not even going to embarrass myself. But if you know it, say it. So yeah, we're just about to get back to the house. So let me park. Let me figure out how to get my laptop in a good viewing angle for you. and we will walk through um, what I've done to Bev's original idea, because I've really messed it up. It's really a mess. All right, let's go take a look. Bye. Okay, so um, I'm back, and this is the very first time that I've done this where I'm doing like a voiceover on a screen capture in real time. And I do not know how well this will work, but we're gonna go ahead and give it a shot. So first things first, I wanted to highlight Bev. Hi, Bev. And if you want to see kind of the video that inspired me for doing this, I've watched it a number of times, but it's here. It's Make Your Own Digital Diamond Painting Logbook, and it says The Lazy Girl's Guide. And so in it, Bev kind of goes into detail about how she utilizes Google Keep. She takes a screenshot of the canvas on the website that she was, pulling the information from. In her instance, it was Diamond Art Club, and then build out her little keep note based off of that screenshot. So make sure to go take a look at this to see kind of basically the original version of this, and I'll make sure to link it in the description box. But I'm going to show you kind of what I did. Oh, you can see background hum on microphone. I was dealing with some background hum. But I fixed it. The mic was too close to the computer, or something on my desk is making it hum. So now it's on a tripod a couple feet away from my my desk, and I think it's working. You'll have to let me know how this sounds. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to hop into Google Keep, and this is how I've done things. And so essentially what you're looking at here is all of my kits, every single one that I own. My whips, my things that are in boxes still, my things that are hung up, every single kit in my stash is here on Google Keep. And so some of the key differences, or some of the adjustments that I made is rather than just taking a screenshot of the kit on the website, I've actually downloaded the image from whichever website, be it Diamond Art Club or Distracted by Diamonds or Uniquely Yours Down Under. I pulled the actual image, saved it as a download, and then uploaded it into Google Keep. So a little bit of extra work, but it doesn't really take that long. I think it's just as fast as taking a screenshot. And then once I'm all done for, whatever length of time I'm going to be working on this little project, then I just go back into my downloads folder and I delete them. So I'm not wasting space. And once they've been uploaded onto Google Keep, they don't need to live on your computer. I deleted the majority of these images, and it's just fine. So the other thing, a couple other things. So how I approach this, right? Let's say I have a couple of kits that I just placed an order for, and they're on their way. So we can do this in real time. So first things first, I've already got the Diamond Art Club site pulled up. So I'm going to move over here, and I'm going to go ahead and search for the kit that I have either in my stash or on its way. And I ended up snagging, oh my gosh, what was it called? It was, it's like Venice, I think. It's a Chuck Penson, and it was on sale. Venice, let's do Chuck. There's going to be so much. I forget what it's called, but it's on sale. I've always liked that landscape. Oh, there it is. So it's called Vibrant Italy, sorry. So we're going to click on that. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on our image. So we make it big. There it is. Isn't that nice? I just think all these buildings are going to be a challenge, and I'm up for a challenge. And I really out of all the Chuck Pensons, I think this one might be my favorite. So there's that. So we're going to go ahead and save image to downloads. Okay, now we're going to go back into Google Keep now that we've saved that image, and we're going to click on title, take a note, and we're going to add an image. And so our images here are under downloads, Vibrant Italy, There you go. So it went ahead and pulled that image down for us. So we're going to type in Vibrant Italy. Cool. And so once that's done, I've created a legend and a template for the information that I want to be on this Google Keep note. So here it is. I have it pinned under our legend and template. So we're going to click this, and it's basically from this company all the way down to notes. So we'll go over what I've personally decided to include in this. Yours might be different. So I've just scrolled down to where Vibrant Italy is, and I'm clicking on that, and I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. So our company, we're just going to go down the line. Diamond Art Club, our artist is Chuck Pinson. Our shape is square, I believe. Our size is... Our size is 93 by 70. 93 centimeters by 70 centimeters. Our colors, we're going to have 53 with 2 ABs. So it's 53 and then 2 ABs. Whoops. And depending on how you want to do that, I like to have my total number including the ABs and then in parentheses. That means that 2 of the 53 are ABs. Purchase price, if it's on sale, great. I usually will still put the full price just in case this comes back up, which they do from time to time. So this is really just for what someone could pay for it. I don't think I've ever seen Diamond Art Club like bump up a price beyond what they originally listed it for. So box saved, that's a category that I've personally set aside because at certain points I was throwing away my boxes, but since this is still being shipped, I will be saving boxes going forward. And then I have this hashtag to be unboxed here. This lets me know if I need to still unbox a canvas or if it's already done. So since this still needs to be unboxed, it's still on its way, all I have to do, this doesn't save it as a hashtag, it needs to be blue. This is more of a prompt. So I just go in here and type right over it to be, and there's our to be unboxed. Okay, our unboxing date, this is the date. This is all specific to content creation. The date that I've unboxed it, the date that I did a kitting up. Any whip in chat or vlog date or dates will be listed here, and then my finish review. And this is all the date that those were posted or live on YouTube. Then we have our start date and finish date for the kit just overall, because sometimes that's not going to align with this. I could unbox this tomorrow, but then not actually start on it for another 6 months. So that's kind of what that means. And then I might finish it, but my finish and review might not come for a few days after that because I don't have time. So this is specific to content creation. This is just the core start and finish date. And then I have my finish number for the year, and then the finish number of all time, and then our notes. Okay. Underneath notes, I'm going to add a couple of tags. The first thing is the company name, Diamond Art Club. And so I've already created these, so that's why they're popping up and populating. But if I had like Diamond Beauty Artwork, I could create that just by making it. But we're going to go ahead and do artist next. So Chuck Pinson, there he is, because I already have one. Next one is going to be square, because that's the style. And then we're going to do size. And so I want to search based on the size of canvas. And this is something that I've just created for me. As you can see here in the background on my legend, and we can blow this up in a second, but just for the purposes of doing this, 50 centimeters or less in either direction can be considered a small. 50 to 80 centimeters in either direction will warrant medium. 80 to 100 centimeters would be large, and anything 100 plus in either direction will be considered extra large. So this is a 93 by 70. So I'm going to put this in the large section because that 93 puts it up there. Even though the 70 doesn't. If one of my axes or length or height is higher, I usually am just going to go with the higher number. So 93 puts this in large. So if I wanted to find a kit to kit up and I was like, you know what, I'm looking for something like snack size or small, middle of the road large, or I want a long-term challenge, I can search by those. So once that's all done, I just click away, and now you'll see Vibrant Italy is fully populated with that additional information. So that's all that there. Cool. So that's what you're going to do. And then a couple other things that might be a little bit weird is certain images from their websites aren't going to download properly depending on the file type that's been used. So a really good example is Etsy. This is Inquisitor from Distracted by Diamonds. If you go to Etsy and just click on the image and copy and download like I did in Diamond Art Club, it doesn't quite work right on my Mac. So what I have to do is take a screenshot of the image and then go into my photos, trim it down or crop it, and then once I crop it and save it from the Apple like native photos, it converts it into the proper file type for me to use. So you might run into situations like that where you just can't get the photo pulled down right, and so you have to finagle it a little bit. But if you ever need any assistance with that, just let me know. The other thing to keep in mind too is sometimes these images I just couldn't find at all. So what I had to do, and what I mean by that is, for instance, I couldn't figure out where to find the Great Wave from Diamond Dots. It just wasn't pulling off the site right. It was just being wonky. So since the Great Wave is a really popular image, I just Googled the Great Wave and then copied and cropped it just from a Google image search of the artwork. So this is not tied to Diamond Dots or tied to diamond painting. This is just the image of that original artwork, but it's the same thing that is of the diamond painting. So I hope that makes sense. I'm going to try to find another example. Oh, I did it here. Season Spring. This is not from Distracted by Diamond site. I just Google searched Alphonse Mucha Season Spring and just pulled this from Google. And so I'm not planning on recreating these and mind you, that's an old masters, but I'm not planning on, doing anything with these as far as making customs or anything like that. So you just want to be careful with these images, since you are pulling them from sites, that you're, not doing anything unorthodox with these images once you have them. Magic Portals is another one that I just searched that on Google because that is not sold on Diamond Art Club individually, so this isn't from the Diamond Art Club site. So just keep that in mind. It does take a little bit of work depending on how in-depth you want to go, but I just thought this was a little bit cleaner for me than trying to screenshot all the information into one. Okay, so we can take a look here at another example. So like Where the Fun Never Ends is my current like main whip. So you can see Diamond Art Club, Mandy Manzano, round, 51. I want it to be formatted like that. 51 by 137, 55 colors, 2 ABs. Purchase price $64.99. My unboxing date on YouTube was July 19th. I kitted it up on August 31st, and so far I've done one whip and chat on October 12th and one vlog on October 14th where this kit was mentioned. And then there's my start date of 8/31, and there you go. Finish number of all time. This is a mistake. I must have copied that in wrong. So you can there's always potential opportunity for mistakes here and there. So you just clean them up as you see them. But you can see this is a hashtag extra large because we've got that 137. So that's how I've categorized it. Okay. So the other thing that is different here as well is I've taken advantage of our color coding, and you can find your color coding by these background options. You have all these colors here. You also have different patterns. So in my legend, you can see that green means it's a work in progress. Gray means that it's been completed. Blue means that it's slated for an event. And pink is shortlisted for future kitting up, for kitting up, meaning it's next on the list once I have my next finish. So, and then all of my whips that I'm currently working on, I've pinned them, and you can pin your notes by the little pin right there. You see that pin note? So when I have a new whip, I pin it. So these are all my whips at the top, and then this is all my stash waiting to be worked below. So when it's time to work up a new one, let's say the next one that I want to do is, let's say the next one I want to do is Transparent here by Yume Art. I'm just going to go here, and let's say I've kitted it up, it's ready to go. I'm going to green, and I'm going to pin, and it's going to pull that up to the top. And then you can drag and move these around. So I put that as maybe my newest whip here. So oldest to newest, however you want to do it, right? And then to go back to the original, I want to put that back. I'm going to hit default, and I'm going to unpin, and it's going to fall back down into our main category. Okay, so that's how you kind of work with your stash in real time. So as you can see right now, I have 5 whips, which is a lot. Yeah, I have 5 whips. I don't know what else to tell you. And I haven't done the blue or the pink yet. I don't have anything listed as slated for an event just yet. Just because I haven't had the time to go through and do that. But I could maybe say, all right, Warm Witch would be great for next year's summer with the Masters. I'm going to, wait, what color was it? Blue is slated for an event. So I'm going to go ahead and hit blue. Boom. So now I know before I go to kit this up and start working on it, make sure to check that I didn't want to do it for an event, or I'm doing it for that event. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I'll go reach for a canvas and I go to start on it. I'm like, wait, didn't I bought that for something? Oh, it's for next year's XYZ. So the blue is supposed to help just be a visual cue to look into it a little bit more. And then I might have like a kit that I'm like, don't forget you want to do this next because it's either for a gift, or you want to just get started on from this company or from this artist you've been wanting to do it. Don't forget. So maybe I want to say, I want to tackle something from Craftably because I haven't touched a Craftably kit before. I'll go ahead and highlight Sunset Crossing as pink. That way I know that that's one that needs to be kitted up next. Like, don't get sidetracked by succubus booty, you know. you have a plan in mind, and then you can always adjust and change and move those around as you see fit. Okay, so that's that. You've got your active whips, you've got your kits that are waiting to be worked on here. Okay, here's another good example with Women in Gold. That's just pulled from, I searched Women in Gold diamond dots and found it, and then pulled that image from Google because the Diamond Dots website wouldn't let me download the image. So you've got to kind of sometimes finagle these a little bit to get them to work. And like I said, if you need any help with that, you let me know. Like, here's from Diamond Painting Deutschland. So I've been able to find an image for everything I've done. And then I pulled the actual image from the mystery kits if I could find it, to make sure it was like matched the color that was on the box. I don't know. Like, you can see this one's different than I've got. I think there's a yellow one. Yep. So, okay. So once you're done with your kit, you've finished, all your stuff's filled out, you want to put it in a list of completes or sold or whatever it is. What I am doing is I'm going to go ahead and archive these. So there's this little button here called Archive. You hit that, and it's going to move your kit into down here towards the bottom, Archive. Do you see that? Archive. So I'm going to put it back because I was just kidding, unarchive. But here's all of my finishes of all time. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, 12 finishes of all time. Starting, and I've organized these by completion. So this is the very first kit I finished. It was from Amazon. This is the very first thing I bought. And you can see a lot of it's NA because I wasn't doing YouTube back then. Start date was sometime in February, I believe. Yeah, like late January, early February. But I pulled as much information as I could down from Amazon. You could add links to the kits if you want. That's not really something that I'm doing, but you could absolutely include that. And then my second kit of all time was Midnight Laundromat. And that's when I started kind of doing YouTube, and I started this on 425 and my kit up. So my very first YouTube video was on 425. So yeah. And then Reflections by Diamond Dots, Star Mist from Diamond Painting Deutschland, so on and so forth until Bumblebee was my most recent finish. And I completed that on October 4th. So that's kind of how that looks. You can see down here we've got Distracted by Diamonds, Round, Jasmine Castillo, Medium. And what's nice about those tags, when you're back up in your actual notes, and now I've got to pin this back up here. Okay, cool. Is you can search in here and type in Mandy. And there's the only kit that I have with the word Mandy in it. You can do that. You can also use those hashtags to search here because it's created those tags for you. So I kind of like the search feature here because then I can go large. And so here's all of my large kits that I have, including my archived. How many large finishes have I had? Isn't that cool? So yeah, I can do, let's do Mystical Diamond Art. So you can see here I've got one in my stash, one kitted up. So you can really get specific depending on the information that you provide. If you put good data in, it's going to be searchable. You'll get good data in result. So that's why I like to make it a little bit more detailed. Creating each one of those notes does take a few minutes to build them out, but once you have them, I feel like it adds a lot of value to the overall structure of what we're looking at here. Let's pick another one. Let's do, let's see, Ivy Dollamore. Whoops, Collamore. Ivy Dollamore. So you can see here we've got Warm Witch, Fairy Lights, the Mystery Kit, Witch's Greenhouse, and Fisher Gal are all in my stash. And I've completed Moon Thief, Cauldron of Myrrh, and Midnight Laundromat. So I think I have the entire Ivy Dollamore collection, 3 finished, 5 to do, which I'm going to get to them soon enough. So yeah, let's see what else. Let's look up Alphonse. So here you can see I've got 3 Alphonse Mukas, Season Spring, Zodiac, and Primrose, all by Distracted by Diamonds, and I haven't completed any of them. So yeah, and then you can see your sizes, your colors, all of that stuff. Certain pieces of data I was unable to pull up, like I could not find for the life of me Zodiac and any of the archives on their Etsy shop or anything like that. So I would have to go onto my receipt and find out how much I bought this for, but for now I just have listed as unknown. And you can see here box saved, no, because I unboxed it and threw it away. So yeah. And then for notes, let's go ahead and go to my archive and let's look up the notes for Yellow Frida. Under that notes section, some colors were a little bit more trash heavy than I would have liked. Added special drills from Diamond Dots, rendering was fantastic. So that's usually what I'll put in the notes section. You can see here, finish number 9 of the year, 9 of all time. Let's see, self-portrait, let's look at those notes. Beautiful rendering, slightly pink skin tone versus original image. So just something good to note. I could also put under here, gifted to Aunt Tommy. I could also write sold to Oprah, or whatever you want to do, you know. That's where I would put that information. So Soul of the Rose notes completed prior to starting a logbook, so I don't have any formal notes, but I can put gifted to Uncle Louis. And then Captain completed prior to starting logbook. I can put gifted to Katie. Oh my gosh, what's her last name? Well, I'm not going to put her last name. Katie from work. I'll just put that so you don't. I don't want to give you too much information. And then this one. Enhancements used from Diamond Dots, DP with Sparklers, and Amazon. So I had a lot of enhancements there, and this was gifted to Mom. There you go. So that's kind of how I utilize Google Keep. I'm going to go check on Apollo for a second, but we're not quite done yet. I will stop this and come back, and we'll talk a little bit about what I want to do with this going forward. Okay? 1 second. Okay, he is... Ow. Ow, I just elbowed his crate. I just got him a bigger crate, and it's bigger. Ow. He's just plopped down on the ground sleeping. I keep worrying because I took his cone off that he's gonna like be licking his wounds or stuff, but I think he's either medicated enough or is okay enough. He's not going after his stitches at all. He's just sleeping. So okay, so now that I've showed you how this works and how you can do this for yourself, here's what I envision in my head. I want to have either a website or an app or a tool that will have a separate tab that would be like add to your stash, right? And you'd hit the little plus sign that's here and hit plus, and you'd type in Star Maker, and this exact thing would pull up, and there would be a little plus sign on it or somewhere that would be like confirm add to your stash, and it would pop up on your list and would already have Diamond Art Club, You May Art, square, size, colors, would have maybe the original price or something like that, and you could adjust it. You can see even this one, I put the note of purchased from D-Stash here, and then everything else would be blank, so you could fill it in or edit it or whatever, but this core stuff would already be here like as a default, including your hashtags like already there ready to go, your searchable tags, which you could also customize and add or remove. So rather than having to type this out every single time, you just pulled it down from like a database that was already in existence, and it could be user populated. So every time someone goes onto the app or onto the website and adds a new one, like somebody gets on and adds Inquisitor, it will add it to their stash, but it'll upload that data and everything into the database. That way someone else can pull it down. So we're not all having to do this independently of each other. So it's kind of a community-driven database of diamond painting kits and information, essentially logbook pages. Okay, so that's kind of what I want to do at the end. Like, that's the end goal. So I know a couple of people that work in the tech realm that have dabbled in app development or have a working knowledge, or it can at least point me in that direction. So I'm going to reach out to them and try to take the steps necessary to figure out like, what would this take? How much would this cost? What's the time commitment here? All of that stuff. So it's pie in the sky long term, but that's what I'd love to end up having, is like Gems Flow, but like not Gems Flow, because it's all pre-populated imagery. It's all there ready to go. It would be so awesome to partner with diamond painting companies. That way they could upload or provide that core information for their entire catalog of kits up front. That way less people have to manually add it in for the sake of the common good. So let's say I was able to reach out to like Craftably or Jaded Gem Shop and say, hey, can you give me a rundown like on an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheets or whatever it is of all of the kits that you've produced and their sizings, colors, basically all of this key information here, size, shape, artist, all of that stuff. And sometimes like with Jaded Gem Shop, because there's so many different varieties of square and round, maybe all that Jade would be able to provide me is a sample image, the title, and the artist, and then everything else is completed by the user. And if that was the case, I'd have to figure out a way to merge some of these, and that way when you go to select Senorita, you have the option to select which size that you purchased, all of that stuff. So someone else could come on here and be like, no, mine was actually 60 by 80. Why do I keep writing XM? Then the next person has the choice between the 70 by 100 or the 60 by 80 or whatever that is. So some of it could get wonky because some of them are going to be the same kit in different sizes and different drill shapes. So that would definitely be a hurdle that I'd need to work through. But otherwise, it should just be one for one. Like there isn't another Where the Fun Never Ends, you know. The other thing, if it's being uploaded community driven, I would probably not probably, this would only be for legally licensed artwork, so someone would have to moderate that, or the computer would have to, or the program would have to automate not accepting images from what would be deemed like like a, not blacklist of sites, but maybe only accepts or only accepts kits from the following retailers or following diamond painting brands. So I'd have to be mindful of that too. The other thing that we couldn't really do if that was the case is customs, because that's just kind of yours. So that would all of these things need to be workshopped and thought out. So, which brings me to kind of my final thing. So what I'd like to do in the first step towards this is start building this out for some people in the community that think that they might take value out of this as a service. So this is completely based on how much time I have. If this is something that you and I end up doing together, or I do for you, we'll have to be very transparent up front about, bandwidth and those types of things. But what would happen is I'm going to start a new email address that is specific towards this service. I haven't decided what I'm going to call it yet, but I'm going to be building out. It might just be called, I might just do a single emplacing Gmail. And what I can do in Google Keep is build all of these slides out for you. You would just send me a list of your stash, that just like the title, title and where you got it from. That's really all I would need to know. Or you could send me pictures of the images that are on the boxes, and as long as I can clearly read it, I can do that for you. And I can build out these notes and these pages, these logbook pages for your entire stash. And what you can do, or what I would do, is I can click on the plus button and I can share that note with you. Okay? Once you receive that note, it'll land in your Google Keep. It'll look exactly like this. And all you have to do is just hit make a copy. And then boom, there it's making the copy. So you just copy what I sent you into your own Google Keep. And then when you're done, you just delete the original note. And why would you need to do that? Because if you were to just take the one that I send you and start working on it, it's a shared one between you and I. So all of the stuff that you add, all of your notes, your start and end dates, that would end up basically on the master copy. Think of it like that. Like you're making a copy of it so you can do it do what you want with the template, quote unquote. But you don't want to change the master. Because what I would hope to do is the next time I work with somebody, I don't have to rewrite it all. I can use the same one that I made for you, quote unquote. You've just taken all of your copies. So you would go through each of these slides, make a copy of them all, and then delete the original one I sent you. So basically it's just copy, delete, copy, delete, copy, delete, copy, delete. You don't even have to go look at the other one. You can go make a copy, delete note, make a copy, delete note, just go down the line, and before you know it, you'll have your whole stash built out. Okay. Once you do that, you would just let me know, hey, Anthony, I'm done copying all of my slides. I can go in and remove you from sharing so I can have them back to share with somebody else. And now you have your whole stash built out just like this. So that's what the process would look like. Reach out to me if that is something that you might be interested in having me work on with you. I'd also send you a copy of the legend, so when you get new kits, you can start building from there yourself with that same template. You could let me know as well, hey, Anthony, I don't need any of this, but could you add this, this, and this to all of my slides? I can absolutely chop and change that for you. Okay. This is just to see how this goes, to test interest to see if anyone would want to do this. If you do, if this is something that would be of value to you, please send me a message on Instagram so we can chat about it a little bit more. I don't think this is something that I would do for free necessarily, although it would add value for me in the sense of gauging interest, as well as building out my master copies of all of these slides, because I would have to do them all eventually. But like I said, this is more of a proof of concept to see if anyone would be interested in doing this. And of course, Bev, yours is free for life because at the end of the day, this is really born from her idea of screenshotting and utilizing Google Keep. I just kind of built it out in a way that I thought would benefit me not only as a diamond painter, but also as a content creator. And I liked the idea of having this be a little bit more flexible and easier in having the ability to kind of edit and chop and change. So let me know if you have any questions. Reach out to me via Instagram and let me know if this is something you're interested in me building out for you. And we can have a discussion. Like I said, I'm not trying to turn this into a business or like an app idea yet. This is really like, could I do this with the technology I have at hand until I have either the funds or the resources to develop an app around it, because I'm sure that's ridiculously expensive. So it's like, how do we get as close to that as possible, and this is kind of what I've come up with, and I think I can actually provide building these out as a service, given everybody plays by the rules of copying and deleting and not accidentally destroying the entire database. So if you need any help, please let me know, because it would be really easy for someone to be like, oh, whoops, I hit delete and not copy. And then I'd be like, where did all my stuff go? So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I can keep this up for myself, and I could also do it for others, including if your customs and stuff too, since this wouldn't be on an app. If you have customs, I would just need to know the image, the size, all that. So you'd have to provide all that stuff to me, or like the image title, and then I could go find the image on, and download it. I can figure it out. I'm trying to think of another example of where I didn't have the original. Was it House on the Cliff? Yes, because this was never released. It was on the Diamond Art Club site. It was only released on the mystery kit. So I had to go to MHS Licensing, aka Image World, and search through their catalog of images that you could purchase, and then I found it. And then I just took a screenshot, cropped it down, resaved it, uploaded it, all that good stuff. So that's how I'm doing that. I think I did the same here. I did the same here. Yeah, so you just kind of have to find your way. You can see this is a screenshot of the actual dotted kit and not the original image, because that's all I could find. That I think I pulled that off of Michael's. So yeah, I had to find some ways around it, but I think it came together really well. I think it looks really clean. I'd love if these were all completely in line, just like straight across, all the same depth, and then they just cropped it at a certain point. But at the same time, this almost gives me kind of a magazine feel, so I really feel like I'm flipping through my stash. So I kind of like it. I think it's a cool way to put stuff together, and I think this was an incredible idea by Bev. And who knows, maybe Bev and I need to go into business together. But yeah, like I said, I just kind of took heavy inspiration from her process and just built it out in a way that I think is a little bit more fleshed out for what my needs are, and what I would think maybe some other, not only crafters as well as content creators might get some value out of this type of tracking. Let me know your thoughts. Send me a message if this is something that you'd like for yourself and you'd like me to put together for you, and we'll talk. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I really, really appreciate it. Any questions, comments that you have, leave them down in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content with friends, family members, anyone that you think might take some value out of it. Otherwise, happy placing, and we'll see you next time. Bye. 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 Bye.